get right into it. Who am I here with today?
I am Angie Schwab. I'm the CEO and founder of Ashford Wellness.
Cool. What do you do? What does Ashford Wellness do?
So we're a group of clinicians, and we just realized these wellness products, although they're made of wonderful things from nature, that also means they can be open to contaminants.
Yeah.
Pesticides, heavy metals, things that can make people really, really sick. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is evaluate products like CBD and cannabis products to ensure they don't have these harmful products in them. And for the products that we find that are clean, we give a clean award. So then patients, consumers can identify, hey, I can trust this product.
Okay. That's cool. When do products get those harmful things in them? Like along the process? Is it the growing process? Is it the packaging? Or
everywhere?
Okay.
Everywhere. So you've got the growing, right? So you got the soil, you've got the pesticides in the air. Contamination can happen there. Mm-hmm. But then when you take the plants, you process them, you have processing chemicals. So residual solvents, alcohols, methanes, like all sorts of potentially bad stuff. Yeah. And then in addition to that, we've seen it come in packaging. So you think this awesome plastic packaging that you're putting is going to be great, but it was made in, another country without the same standards, and maybe there's some lead in it or something, which you don't want your patients to have that either. So it's really important to test the entire process and your final product, literally the final product in the final packaging, to ensure that you're giving your patients, your consumers, the best possible product that they can get.
Not to scare too many consumers, but what product do you see that is harmed the most? Is it oils or edibles or flour?
Yeah, so we're seeing it across the board.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to say there's a couple things that stand out the most, and that's pesticides.
Okay.
And the biggest shocker that we're seeing is that people don't even realize where these pesticides are coming from. Mm-hmm. So they're like, hey, we buy organic, all of our stuff's amazing, it's going to pass. And we test it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a really high level of X pesticide, and that may be coming from a lemon orchard not far away, because we've seen that pesticide with that type of an orchard situation, or beeswax is another big one. So even when you think you're buying organic and the cleanest things ever, and everyone's like, look at my COA, I'm amazing, be sure you're actually testing for the right things in those COAs, right? And along the entire process. So for us, we just recognize as clinicians that patients deserve more.
Yeah.
They don't want to be poisoned when they come to you for a wellness product, know? Yeah. They're here to get better. So please, industry, step up, help them get better, not worse, right?
How does that compare to the food industry? Because the food industry isn't necessarily, the grocery store doesn't necessarily promise safety and wellness.
Agreed.
There's a lot of ingredients that might, add up over time and contribute to illnesses and diseases.
100%. I would love to see these standards across the board, right? But you got to start somewhere, and starting with a product that is supposedly touted to help people with an illness or to help them become better seems like the best place to start for me, right? And I really appreciate, after going through these processes and evaluating all these standards that we have in the industry, is that companies want to do good. Most of the companies that come to us, they think they're amazing, that's the reason they're coming to us, is they're like, we're amazing, show our products to the world, and doctors should trust us. And then we take them through this process, and they realize they weren't testing for the right things or at the right time. And sometimes, honestly, they found out something was contaminated. They've thrown hundreds of thousands of dollars of product away because consciously they could not come to grips with the idea of I don't want my grandma to be putting this balm on her that's full of pesticides that have been shown to do damage to people. And I can't do it. So they scrapped it all, which is hats off to them.
Is there a way to reverse it if it's let's say it's already a final product, whether it's an oil or an edible or a balm? Is there a way to reverse it from its final stage and repackage it and repurpose it from there?
I don't necessarily know that there's an easy way to do that. Honestly, your best idea at this point is to figure out where that contaminant came from.
Yeah, from when it's grown.
Where was it?
At a finished product level, you can't put the toothpaste back in
And
the
take
tube.
it back. Yeah.
You can clean oils and make sure that your oils and your inputs are clean to some degree. Not everything. I'm not a product manufacturer, but I've seen people like take dirty oil and clean it and clean it and clean it and remove some of those pesticides. But when you get to the packaged product, like, you're done. You're sunk.
Yeah. So like, don't get that far. And that's the point. Is like, please don't be one of these companies who has that ethical dilemma of, should I throw away 100,000 or should I sell this because I gotta sell, but I know I'm doing harm, and that was not what I wanted to do. So we're now starting to think upstream. Like, how can we help these companies before they get to that level? How can we work with ingredient manufacturers? Because they need the right ingredients to go in, right? And so people are coming to us, like for beeswax, for example. They came to us and said, Angie, that's what's failing. Like, what do I do? Where do I find it? And then that's when I start going upstream and being like, okay, who's got beeswax out there that can actually pass?
So then you can be a networker of sorts and help build a clean industry.
Yeah, that's our entire goal, is just help the industry help itself and create good products that people can trust.
Remind them one more time who you work for, what your name is, and where they can, get clean products from.
Yeah, Angie Schwab. The company is Ashford Wellness. You just find it at ashfordwellness.com. You can see on there our team members, what we test for, the products that have passed. We've started with CBD, but now we are expanding into supplements, looking at mushroom products. Mushrooms are coming in hot. We're really excited about that. And cannabis, obviously. So really excited to help as many people as we can and check out the award winners. I'm actually really proud of these companies that have gone through all the hoops to prove that they're